Another Generation 2 Plasticon review! Woohoo! Welcome back to another Plasticon review. Today we're going to cover Generation 2 Jhiaxus. Here is G2 Jhiaxus in his absolutely insane jet bomber mode. This thing absolutely screams G2 and completely screams awesome and really doesn't want to hide from anything. Although it's got a very, very chromy look along with a bit of green and some red, this thing really does kind of stand out, especially when it comes to G2. In the actual G2 comics, Jhiaxus actually looks white. I don't believe that's exactly correct, because if you actually look at the different cells that were drawn of him, he has more of a chrome structure to him versus being white. I actually think Jhiaxus is one of the coolest in the entire collection I have. He absolutely dwarfs his compadres, which you know are Viacons and Rook, but really does kind of measure up, showing how large he is compared to Dreadwing and Starscream. He just absolutely is humongous. The detail on this thing is absolutely insane and just really kind of stands out compared to everything else. Here he is in his aircraft mode, jet mode, bomber mode, whatever you want to call this thing, because this thing is literally a flying fortress. It is enormous. It's absolutely amazing. It's very heavy. It's got some heft to it. I do love this thing. This thing is so cool. It's got a lot of built-in gimmicks that I will get to here in a few minutes, but just admire the enormous, this thing's huge. Like, here, G2 Bumblebee next to him. I mean, seriously, this thing looks like it's in scale to this. That's just how enormous this toy really is. It is huge. It's one of the largest things I actually have in my collection, and I just absolutely love it. It's just so amazing. The panel line detail is just really good. I love how the cockpit looks. I love this nice red nose cone they got going on top of the fact that he just has like these little green wings, and just the details picked out here and there throughout the whole thing, like yellow thrusters, the little yellow bombs, along with these two larger yellow jet packs right here. These right here would be more like a jump jet pack. I just love this thing. It's so cool with the big old G2 emblems right here on the wings. And the other cool thing, I'm going to get into some of the gimmicks here, but it does have these bombs. These bombs are actually just attached with little pegs that you can just take off and drop. And it's kind of neat. They only peg on with a little hole right here, and pegs right onto these little pegs right here on the underside of the jet. And that's what one other thing I do love about this thing. The fact that the underside of it is actually just as absolutely jam-packed with detail as the top is. Like, it's got so much detail. Look at all the detail in the wings. The whole bottom of it is just really nicely done. It does happen to have folding landing gear, which is kind of nice because this folds back. And these here will actually flip up as well. And they do roll. They are rolling landing gear. They're not just there for looks. They will allow it to roll around, which it's got some heft to it, but it does roll. I do like the fact it's got a little bit of translucentness going on here, and there's a reason for that. Because if you actually look in here, you can see it's just got this little sight here. Well, you can raise up the sight, and then you can actually see which direction you're flying or firing at things. And another cool thing it's got this extra little set of what I call like hidden wings on this little slide. And what you do is you flip them up to reveal a mirror. And this mirror, as you can see my hand down here, kind of hard to see it, but it's there. It's got a little mirror down there. That right there is a gimmick that allows you to use the bombing gimmick. This thing's got an actual bombing gimmick where you actually take this portion right here and you will be able to deploy the bombs, which are tucked away under here. It allows you to drop just like that. It's really cool. I do like it. It's one of the coolest gimmicks, and they're really easy to put back in. So all you'd really do is you just spin it the direction that you had it, because you just spin this knob here, drop the bomb back in, and then close it back up. Not all the way, just slightly. And they hold in there really good. They don't fall out or anything. That's a great thing I love about this tool. It's also got another little gimmick here where it's got a bit of a see-through type of thing. You have this lever here, and then you push it back. It's got this like very, very transparent, which is kind of hard to see here. But you can see how the little red veins that are down in there. It actually allows some transparency, which is kind of nice. And that's also shown in robot mode, but this is the jet mode. The jet mode is just absolutely jam-packed with so many gimmicks. Yes, this is basically, it's a remold of Skyquake, which Skyquake had a lot of GPS here in the back. He actually had a different system. He had an actual targeting system that had a little sticker on there that showed who you were shooting at when it was the actual target mode, and then you flipped it down and it actually had the mirror. So one little thing was robbed from this, but that's okay, because you know this is G2. This is awesome. This is literally the coolest Jhiaxus I have in my collection. I absolutely love this thing. It's just amazing. But anyway, let's stop gushing about this humongous jet mode and get this thing into robot mode, shall we? Here's Jhiaxus in his robot mode, and he is absolutely enormous. This thing towers on my shelf. It is so great having this thing. I do love the fact that all those colors that you saw kind of just really kind of go together. Although you have a little teeny tiny bit of green sticking off the back just here and there, just showing just he has his wings, but he still looks very stoic. This is exactly what Jhiaxus looks like in the comic books. He's got a lot of this yellow brought out along with the silver, and he just looks menacing. I love the head sculpt on this. The head sculpt is remnants of the Skyquake, but he is very, very, very cool. I do like that head sculpt a lot. I know it's kind of hard to see considering this guy is so huge. He's such a big, big robot. Do like him a lot. Putting him up next to my Generation 2 Power Master Prime, he scales very well with him. I think this is exactly what the showdown would have looked like in the comic books between these two. It just absolutely looks astounding, considering Jhiaxus is supposed to be even more powerful than Megatron. Speaking of which, here is G2 Megs next to him, and now you can see why he just fits in. Like, it's just enormous. I love the size of this toy. This toy is just so great, and it's like, it's perfect with the sizing. I just think it really, really works with a lot of the G2 stuff. He just fits in perfectly. He's just like, bam, there it is. And here he is next to Hot Rod, which kind of shows you a bit of a scale here for you guys. Along with, let's put one of his little Jhiaxus guys. You can see his Jhiaxus are very small compared to him. And here he is with Generation 2 Rook. It just looks really, really good. I think these guys really scale very well, considering, you know, they are, it's just, it fits. It really does fit the scheme. And just for giggles, let's put Generation 2 Bumblebee up there just to show you exactly how enormous Jhiaxus is compared to everybody else. Yes, sorry Megatron, didn't mean to bump you there, buddy. He's just huge. Like, this guy is just towering. Like, I have put him up next to my Metroplexes. He is just perfectly, like, he fits. He just absolutely fits in with the toy scheme. He just, I can't, like, really explain how awesome Jhiaxus is. He has always been one of my favorite Decepticons, considering he really is more of a rogue than a Decepticon. He is his own, like, faction in a lot of ways, because he just really reminds me of how a lot of the Decepticons were in Victory, where they really didn't want to follow anybody else's orders. They wanted to do their own thing, and then there you go. Like, he is literally like the poster child of that, because he just does his own thing. He's got his own army of Jhiaxus and a Rook that pretty much notifies him what everything's going on, and just literally, like, rocks the entire universe, especially whenever he faces up against Optimus Prime and even against Megatron. He doesn't back down from anybody, and that's what's great about him. I just love his character. He's just a very, very strong leader, and just kind of like, he walks over everything in the universe, and it's crazy. I just like Jhiaxus. I'm just a big fan of him. As for this guy, I just think he's absolutely amazing. I really think he does fit in very, very well with the entire Generation 2 theme, and he just, it wouldn't be G2 without Jhiaxus. It just wouldn't. This guy is literally one of the largest threats in the entire comic book. Not to mention, he does cause a lot of havoc even on his own during times whenever he was attacking Earth and all that, and so, you know, sending in whatever he could to just destroy anything that was Cybertronian or Earth-based, or even in any other alien planets. He just didn't care. He just wanted to dominate it all. Especially, you know, kind of how the comic books started out. You know, you got this guy and he's like kind of just spying on everybody. So it's like, who is this new evil? And that's him. That's Jhiaxus, and he is really, really cool. Anyhow, this has been Plasticon. This has been yet another Generation 2 review. And I'll catch you guys around, because, you know, I got plenty more coming your guys' way. And that's it for now. Bye!